Steelers Nation, what's up? The sun's up over Latro. Training camp is underway. And while things might have looked quiet at first glance, don't let that fool you. There's a lot to unpack with this team right now. We're seeing a shift. Something subtle but real. And it's coming from a place that's been crying out for change, unpredictability. That's been the Steelers' Achilles heel in recent years. It's not talent, not toughness, not even coaching. It's the fact that when this team lines up, opponents usually already know what's coming. But there's a growing sense just a flicker right now. Maybe that things might finally be starting to turn. Now, let's talk about what actually went down. No huge headlines from the first official day, no dramatic holdouts, no shocking arrivals. Not even a major injury storyline unless you count Isaac Sumalo showing up with a knock that's going to slow him down early on. But the bigger buzz among those paying close attention wasn't about who did or didn't show. It was about how to very specific players might be used. And that might just hold the key to unlocking a very different version of this team. I'm talking about Jalen Ramsay on defense and Jonnu Smith on offense. Yeah, I know it's a bit odd. Right, these guys arrive in what look like already occupied roles. You've got depth at their positions. You've got presumed starters. And yet, the staff made moves to bring into players who don't just add depth, they bring versatility. And that's where the story gets interesting. Now, if you were following along during the arrival window, you probably saw that things got a little weird with Jonnu. He was seen chatting with media around the dorms, then just wandered off on his own, walked up a hill, disappeared for a bit, came back later but never did the standard media scrum. So there was no chance to ask him directly about how he sees his fit in this offense. Which is a shame, because the guy's usage is going to be fascinating. Ramsay, on the other hand, did speak, kind of, when asked what kind of role he expected to have. He gave this simple, cryptic response: "I'm play football, figure it out together," flashing a big grin as he said it. Classic Ramsay, never giving away the plan, but hinting at something more. And that little moment, as lighthearted as it seemed, actually said a lot. It's not just Ramsay keeping things under wraps. Head coach Mike Tomlin didn't exactly spill the beans either. When asked about how they plan to use these two, he was straightforward but still left a lot to interpretation. He basically said, they're going to be on the field, no matter what the opposing offense is doing. They're going to play, but where they'll line up, that's the part nobody's sharing yet, and that's where the intrigue really kicks in. Let's look at Ramsay first. He's done it all. Primarily an outside corner throughout his career, yes, but he's played in the slot. He's played safety. He's even crept up to the line to rush the passer. This guy's toolkit is overflowing, and Tomlin clearly loves that. In fact, Tomlin went out of his way to remind everyone that back during Ramsay's draft process, the Steelers had him as both the #1 safety and #1 corner on their board. Let that sink in. That's not just versatility, it's rare. It means they've been high on him from the start, and even now, years into his career, his film keeps backing that up. Tomlin sees Ramsay not just as a guy who can play multiple positions, but as someone who wants to. There's a big difference between a player who can line up in a bunch of spots and one who lives for it. And according to Tomlin, Ramsay's appetite for every facet of the game is exactly what makes him valuable, whether it's covering in man, supporting the run, or lining up inside or outside. Ramsay attacks each task like it's the best part of his job. That mindset, it's contagious, it's disruptive, and it makes life harder for opposing coordinators. You can't scheme against what you can't predict. And that's where the bigger picture starts to come into focus. This defense might finally shed the predictability that's plagued it for years. People always talk about TJ Watt moving around more, shifting from side to side like Myles Garrett does. And sure, that'd be great, but unpredictability doesn't always come from stars doing new tricks. Sometimes it's about creating enough uncertainty across the board that your opponent's pre-snap read becomes guesswork. Imagine Ramsay showing blitz at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he goes, maybe he drops into coverage, maybe he shifts to a totally different assignment at the last second. Even just the threat of that can throw off a quarterback. It's psychological warfare before the ball is even snapped. Now let's flip to the offensive side of things and take a closer look at Jonnu Smith. This isn't just a plug-and-play tight end. This is a guy with real history with Arthur Smith, the Steelers' offensive coordinator. They go back years, first in Tennessee, then Atlanta. That connection means there's already deep trust and a full understanding of what Jonnu brings. He's not someone you use in just one way. Arthur's lined him up everywhere: tight end, H-back, full back, slot, you name it, and when you combine that with a room that might feature multiple tight end sets, now you're talking about a much more versatile offensive look. Some folks have already thrown cold water on the Jonnu move, saying, well, he's not going to catch 88 passes again. Yeah, probably not, but that misses the point entirely. His impact isn't just in the stat line. It's in how he makes the offense feel different to a defense. When you line up 3 tight ends and each one can do something totally different, the defense has to second-guess everything. Is this a power run, a screen, a misdirection? Is Jonnu going to motion into the backfield and block, or slip out into the flat? That kind of ambiguity creates openings for everyone. Take Calvin Austin, for example, if the defense is stressed out about covering 3 huge, athletic tight ends, and then you sneak in a lightning-quick slant route from Austin into that chaos, you're off to the races. That's the stuff good play designers live for. That's where a guy like Arthur Smith can actually cook, assuming he's given the ingredients. Now, let's pump the brakes just a little. Nobody's saying this team is about to reinvent football. Tomlin and his staff aren't claiming to be masterminds or visionaries trying to break the sport. But what they have hinted at quietly, subtly, and consistently is a move towards something they call positionless football. It's a concept that keeps popping up more and more. Ramsay used that exact phrase this week. Keanu Benton said something similar during minicamp when asked about what position he plays. His answer, I'm a playmaker. Huge grin on his face. That tells you everything you need to know. This team isn't just chasing talent, they're chasing adaptability. So here we are, watching a roster slowly evolve from rigid roles into flexible tools. Defense and offense both trending in that same direction. A corner who can blitz, a tight end who can go in motion, a linebacker who can drop into coverage, a defensive lineman who can line up outside if needed. That kind of movement makes life difficult for opponents, and more importantly, it might finally make this team hard to read again. There's more, way more. I haven't even touched the wide receiver conversation yet, and yes, I hear you. Everyone wants to know, are we really about to start another season without a legit number to wide out? It's a fair question, and trust me, that talk has already taken over in Latrobe. One of the guys pushing hardest to answer that question, Robert Woods. Yeah, that Robert Woods. The veteran made it clear he still sees himself as a contender, said he considers himself in competition with someone like DK Metcalf. Not because he's aiming for his literal role, but because that's the mindset you have to bring to camp. If you're not preparing like a starter, then you're preparing to be left behind. And Woods brings more than just hands, he brings experience, blocking ability, and a chip on his shoulder. But let's be honest, the quote that really made headlines didn't come from a player. It came from Omar Khan. When asked about the depth in the wide receiver room, he went down the list, named names, praised Roman Wilson's summer progress, mentioned Woods as a veteran leader, said flat out that the team feels good about the position. And boom, just like that, a portion of the fanbase took that as a sign the Steelers are done shopping. But let's think this through. If you're the general manager, standing in front of the media before the first real practice even starts, what are you supposed to say? That the group you've assembled is weak? That you need to scramble and find someone new? Of course not. There's no upside in that. Confidence breeds confidence. You can't undermine your own guys before they've even had a chance to prove themselves. Especially someone like Wilson, who's had limited snaps but might be on the brink of earning a real role. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Pittsburgh, in a move that has set the NFL rumor mill ablaze. Whispers are growing louder that the Pittsburgh Steelers have finalized a blockbuster trade with division rivals Cleveland Browns, potentially bringing quarterback Deshaun Watson to the Steel City. While no official confirmation has come from either team, multiple sources suggest that talks have advanced to a critical stage, or may even be complete. The idea of Watson suiting up in black and gold is as surprising as it is controversial, given the AFC North's fierce competitiveness and the long-standing animosity between these two franchises. The possibility of such a trade was once thought unimaginable, yet recent developments suggest that the Browns, eager to move forward from the polarizing Watson era, may have found an unexpected trade partner in Pittsburgh. Reports hint that the Steelers, still searching for long-term stability at quarterback following Ben Roethlisberger's retirement, see Watson as a high-risk, high-reward opportunity. Kenny Pickett has shown flashes of potential, but inconsistent. Play and injury concerns have raised doubts about his ability to lead the team deep into the postseason. Watson, though far from his Houston peak, still carries the talent that once made him one of the league's most dynamic passers. What makes this rumor even more intriguing is the sheer rarity of interdivision trades of this magnitude. The Browns, investing so heavily in Watson just 2 years ago, both financially and in draft capital, only adds more weight to the potential fallout. If the rumors are true, it would mark one of the boldest and most controversial moves in recent memory. As fans from both cities anxiously await official word, speculation continues to mount. Could this be the fresh start both Watson and the Steelers need, or is it a calculated gamble destined to backfire in the ever-turbulent AFC North? For now, it remains a tantalizing what-if, but all signs point to something big brewing behind the scenes. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.